This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, September 9th of 2025, and we are so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I was recently at an Iowa Ag Water Alliance field event outside of Madrid, Iowa. We'll have some comments from Jeff Lucas, the Executive Director of the Iowa Ag Water Alliance, as well as Mike Shannon with Ducks Unlimited. Of course, a great partner to the Iowa Ag Water Alliance and contributing to that goal of getting wetlands across the state. We'll also have a check of the closing markets with Ethan Robson of agmarket.net. But first, here's my coverage of that event from yesterday evening.
This farm is really a wonderland of conservation for all of us that are conservation nerds that work in this area and this expertise. This farm literally has everything you would ever dream of, from the wetlands, the bioreactors, the saturated buffers, the cover crops, the no-till, you name it. Everything on this farm, every acre on this farm has a purpose and an impact downstream, and that is a huge deal that the Helen family, I'll turn to get out of the wind. The Helen family has blessed all of us to be able to build these partnerships with folks like Polk County and Heartland and so many others that literally use this farm as an example for all of us to bring more farmers to the landscape and show them here is what is possible and here's how we can partner in different ways to get all this paid for and see this be successful in the landscape as we look to impact more acres upstream of the big cities, but all of the state of Iowa to get conservation on every acre in this state to see the water quality efforts be seen and I guess come to life downstream. I grew up in Fort Madison, which for those of you that don't know is at the very end of the watershed, right on the banks of the Mississippi, at the very southeastern corner of the state of Iowa. So for me, it's all about the entire state, not just some of these higher priority watersheds, but also taking care of knowing what happens once it gets past Des Moines, what's going on there as it goes to my family in Fort Madison. So this is truly a wonderland, and big thank you to the Helen family for allowing us to use their farm as an example for so many other farmers as we talk about the efforts that happen downstream and those impacts, because every acre counts upstream in their efforts that they're putting out with the different partners from Ducks and everybody else to make all of this happen. So big thank you to them. Once again, IAWA, Iowa Ag Water Alliance, we'd encourage all of you to interact with us. We'll be at the Iowa Water Conference the rest of the week. We'll have a booth there. The Watershed Awards that will happen tomorrow. We're super excited to honor some of our champions in the watersheds. So be there and check out some of those videos and interact with some of our guests from the farm and the ag space that we will have at the Iowa Water Conference tomorrow as well. So that's it for me. I'll turn it over to Mr. Mike Shannon from Ducks Unlimited.
That's probably the first time I ever got a cheering standing ovation. Thank you. All right. Well, again, my name is Mike Shannon. I'm a regional biologist with Ducks Unlimited, and my job is to put duck habitat on the ground, to put wetland habitat on the ground, and I've spent decades doing that. I've worked for DU for 27 years, and this is a really exciting time for me because now we have so many people coming together recognizing how important wetlands are, not just for waterfowl, not just for wildlife, but for flood control, for water quality, just the aesthetics of having wetlands out here. I mean, more and more you see people getting involved in wetlands for reasons other than wildlife habitat. But we can all work together. Ruth, I think, was talking before about partnerships and things like that. We can put a lot of wetlands on the ground, but we can't do it alone. No group is going to do it all by themselves. The Iowa Nutrient Reduction Strategy basically says to hit the goals, we need 4,000 to 7,000 of these wetlands right here. These wetlands are strategically located to collect tile runoff water, hold it for a certain amount of time so that microbial action can remove the nitrates out of the water before it flows on downstream. but we need 4,000 to 7,000 of these wetlands on the Des Moines lobe. So basically from Des Moines north to the state line. As a waterfowl guy, as a duck guy, that really excites me because, I mean, that's a lot of wetlands out there. But again, nobody's going to do it all by themselves. Ducks Unlimited can't do it. DNR can't do it. But if we all work together, all of us are bringing skills, expertise, funding, and everything else to the table to make stuff like this happen. And so all of us can kind of work together to take our little part, to contribute our part to make projects like this happen. And, you know, when you look at it that way, 4,000 of these wetlands isn't quite so big a hurdle. You know, we're working together. I think we can make this happen.
Thanks again to the Iowa Ag Water Alliance for having us for their field day near Madrid. We'll have a check of the closing markets next, but first, here's a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here now with Ethan Robson of agmarket.net to take a look at the closing market summary. Ethan, what do we see going on in the grains today? And of course, you're working from the mobile office suite today, right?
Exactly. Harvest is among us here in central Illinois and across most of the Midwest today. And so out here on the family farm in the grain cart today. And so within the markets itself, grain market's a little bit weaker today to start off. Trade's getting prepared for Friday's USDA report. Trade estimates came out looking for a little bit of a weaker yield for both corn and soybeans going into Friday's report, about 186 for corn and it's slightly lower for soybeans as well. And so that's the $1 million question in this week is what's the USDA going to do for yield? Will they keep it the same? Will they raise it or lower it? They haven't tend to raise or lower it for the September report for both corn and soybeans. About corn flip out of the last 20 years, 10 times they've raised it, 10 times they lowered it. So it's going to be interesting to see.
And of course, when it comes to that yield estimate, we were all very surprised to see that go up to 188, especially for the corn. Were the markets honestly kind of just expecting that to come down already, and has that potentially been factored in?
I definitely think so. So you go back to last August report where we printed that 188. Corn was down 10 cents that day instead of limit down. So that, all things considered, that was a really good trading day for adding 1 billion bushels to the balance sheet and only being down 10 cents. And so that you have to think that the market has already priced that in. Seeing a little bit of higher prices now too. Think the market's priced in a little bit lower of a yield. Is it 181? Is it 184, 186? Some reports came out with a 189 the last couple of days. I'm not for sure, but it's going to be important to start paying attention to these yields report as we continue into harvest.
Then Ethan, over on the livestock side of things, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Yeah, rough day in the livestock sector today. Live and feeder cattle's down 2 to 3%. Feeder cattle's finished limit down on majority of the day. And that was because over the last day, the White House, President Trump was talking to a reporter about prices of oil, gas, eggs, and mentioned beef and said beef prices have to come down. And so the President of the United States is a very powerful man. We've seen this once going back to soybeans a couple weeks ago where the president said that he wants to quadruple China's soybean purchases. And so saw that today with beef prices, said beef prices have to go down and therefore you have feeder cattle limit down today. And so just been urging clients, urging producers, get some sort of risk protection on, manage the risks because yes, we have elevated prices right now, good prices, but days like today is really just remind you the importance of risk management and keeping a floor under and protecting the bottom line.
All right, Ethan, lots of great information today. For anyone who wants to get in touch with the team at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Yeah, visit us online, agmarket.net. Give a free trial for all of our information and intel. Test out our MyFarm software. Or give us a call here in Bloomington at 1-800-779-1515.
All right, thanks again for your time. As always, Ethan, we'll let you get back in the field and have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Thank you.
That again was Ethan Robson of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com. That again was Bill Moore of Price Futures Group. We'll go ahead and take a look at the closing market prices. December corn down 2 even at 4.19 3/4. November soybeans down 2.5 at 10.31 1/4. October soybean meal up 5.80 at 2.8770. Soybean oil down $1.05 at 49.93. Chicago wheat down 3.5 at 5.20 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat down 7 even at 5.10 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 2 3/4 at 5.74 even. December oats down 2 1/4 at 3.21 1/4. On the Merc, October live cattle down 5.62 at 2.30.17. September feeders down 9.25 at 3.51.70. October lean hogs up 97 cents at 96.12. Pork cutout went unchanged at 102.22. And September Class 3 milk up 7 cents at 17.73. That's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok, and find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well to check out our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pots Potential. Find those on your favorite podcasting services at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.